Welcome back. It is exactly 8:44 a.m. and we're now going to be crossing over to Wits campus. We'll be talking with Shirona Patel. I think Hassan was a maiden name. She's head of communications, and we're giving Wits University the right of reply regarding the supposed hundreds of students having launched a hunger strike over registration delays. Salaam alaikum to you, Shirona.
Walaikum salam. I know you for too long, Auntie Julie.
And that's why I used your maiden surname. Do ask that you well.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so we are hearing some hectic stuff coming out of Wits University. We're being told headlines are saying that hundreds of students are on a hunger strike, and Wits obviously will not give them a hearing and will not even think about entertaining their pleas and their current situation regarding unpaid fees. What exactly is the situation, your perspective from Wits University?
So, I mean, I would ask anyone who's kind of writing those headlines or those who are saying those things to actually come to the campus. Come today. Come and look at the SRC boardroom. Come and look around campus and try to find the hundreds of students who are on a hunger strike. So, where we are at the moment is the university is actually working with the SRC to try to fundraise so that as many academically talented students can register. At the moment, we are on about 96% of all students who are registered. The remaining 4% are largely postgraduate students, and they can register throughout the year. So they register in March, in July, in September. And at the moment, we're seeing that the demand is coming mostly from postgrad students. What we have done is really try to work with the SRC to fundraise, and we've made significant strides in raising money to help those students who are passing and those students who have done well academically.
Okay, so the person that represented these students, she herself is a postgrad student, unregistered at the moment, obviously, indicated that Wits is not accommodating them. The question I raised with her, Shirona, is one of the challenges by Wits University is obviously unpaid loans. And if students who have passed through Wits University are in employment, meaningful employment, and if they started paying back all of those unpaid debts to the university, perhaps the university wouldn't find themselves in this type of situation. Her response was that the university is a public institution. You need to get funding from the government. The government needs to bail you out, make the monies available so that all students get the necessary funding to register, and also that you are more, as Wits University, more concerned about your bottom line, your profits, rather than the students. How do you respond to all of that?
So firstly, that's a whole lot of hogwash. I would start there. Number one, the student or the so-called student you're speaking to was a former SRC president from 2012. She has worked for more than 10 or 12 years as both a spokesperson for government and as a journalist. And she's now coming back and demanding funding to do her master's degree. So firstly, I think that she's a student who should be able to pay her own way, given that she's got 2 qualifications from Wits, given that she's been working for more than 10 years. So she's the person who claims to be on a hunger strike, and she's the person I ran into yesterday in the boardroom. The second person I saw in the boardroom, so there were 2 people who claimed to be on a hunger strike. The second person is a mature 35-year-old individual, who's got 2 degrees from Wits, well, 1 degree, 1 postgraduate diploma in governance from the School of Governance. They should be working and then should be paying their own way. They can't insist that the university should pay for their fees, nor should government. I mean, they've got 2 qualifications each. They should be paying their own way. Now, that's the one part. The second is, yes, we're a public institution, but we only get a third of our funding from government, and that's government subsidy. We get a third from student fees and a third from fundraising. So if these students, and some of them all claim to be from one political party, for example, and if their political party or their government in 2016 promised free education, then that's where they should be protesting and taking their qualms to. We all like the ideal of free education. We'd all think that would be ideal. But if we were to admit everybody who owes the university funds today, we'd be bankrupt in 2 years. And what does that mean for our sustainability? Our outstanding bad debt from students over the last 5 years is 500 million rand. Now, if we allow that to increase and everyone just to come and offer free education, this university will shut down in 2 years. And then what do we do? So we have to remain financially sustainable. And it's not about the bottom line. We are a non-profit organization. Every single cent is audited and every single cent is put back into the academic project to help students for research and for academics. I'll give you one good example. Last year, we had the university looked at its funding. We then had about 800 students who were about to graduate or students who couldn't make it to the next year. But they had high marks. They were over 65% and they were doing well. The university matched them up through a portal with donors, and we managed to clear the debt of 800 students. This was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. That was 63 million rand. I don't think any other university has done that. With the SRC at the moment, we're working on a legacy fund. And that's why I said speak to the SRC rather than people who claim to be students at this stage. The Vice Chancellor met with the SRC yesterday. We've raised the SRC's raised 2.5 million rand. We've matched that. We had 5 million rand. We've got another 2 hopefully coming in today. That'll give us 9 million rand again to disperse towards students. Each year, from our council budget, we give 180 million rand towards scholarships and bursaries. In total, in 2024, we administered 1.8 billion rand in financial aid, scholarships, bursaries. That helped about 26,000 students. So we're doing what we can, but we're not a financial institution. We are not a bank. And if we say free education, if we say clear all historic debt, we won't be sustainable.
Okay, she is representing the unregistered students, and that is something you are aware of, obviously. She also claimed that, or rather, she commented on the fact that the Fees Must Fall campaign is already 10 years old and nothing has been done in that regard. Why should university students have to pay for their tuition? And the fact that the majority of these students come from poor households, how can the university take such a hard stance against these students? I didn't get the opportunity to ask her about the low grades and the dropout rate and that obviously is a huge issue with the university. So can you take that discussion a little further?
Yeah, so number one, again, yes, the discussions around fees must fall happened about 10 years ago. Again, they're fighting with the wrong people. If government made promises then, and like I said, they belong to political parties who made those commitments, that's where their fight should be. And it should be a collective national discussion with the public and private sectors. She's asking for free education. Wits can't make that happen. No university can make that happen without going bankrupt. So there must be a national discussion. And then when we have the budget discussions tomorrow, they should say then we're allocating more money to universities to ensure free education. So the fight is with the wrong people here. That's number one. Number two, the dropout rate, Wits has actually done tremendously well in ensuring that we keep as many students in the system as possible. And that's because we have to offer them support from the day they arrive right through. And each faculty looks at students at risk academically and otherwise and tries to help them through. So, but we do have students who lose their funding because they don't pass more than twice. So the NSFAS funding, for example, if a person is a NSFAS, if they fail twice, they then lose the NSFAS funding, and then they become one of the unregistered students who want to come back. And then they turn to the university and they expect the university then to go and find funding for them. So there are many, difficult situations like that. We do understand that. We do try to help where we can. But like I said, our resources are not infinite. They're really not. And we don't have the hundreds of millions of rands to offer free education to students. Like I said, it's an ideal. It's something we would like, but then government must come to the party.
So, Shirona, let's wrap up by asking this question. The representative said yesterday, and of course, the news headlines all around is suggesting that hundreds of students have launched this hunger strike. What is your take on this situation? How many people, in fact, are involved in the hunger strike? Number one. And number two, should one of them become seriously ill, or please, Allah forbid, one of them should die because they're on this hunger strike, will the university be held accountable at all?
So the first is I would invite people to come and look for the hundreds of students on strike, because I went to the boardroom yesterday and I found the two individuals, the mature individuals who were not students, who each have two qualifications. So firstly, I invite people to come and look for the hundreds of people on hunger strike. Again, journalists just work off what students tell them or send them. We should actually send journalists out to come have a look. The so-called representatives of the unregistered students claim there's police and security and all of that. There's nothing here. You can come onto our campus today, not a police officer, not a private security person, nothing. So we should also not just take at face value what's kind of presented to us. And secondly, I think that if it's the students' prerogative, and they on a hunger strike, I think you should speak directly to them. It's their initiative, and I think it's best to speak directly to them. We are in conversation with the SRC as the student leaders and the leadership, and we will continue to engage with them and to work with them to try to get as many academically talented students registered as possible. I can't speak on behalf of the other groups of students.
And obviously, then it can't be your responsibility should someone become ill or whatever whilst being on a hunger strike. That was a decision that they had made without, we should imagine, without coercion or anything of that sort.
No, I mean, you'd have to ask that to the student bodies. I mean, we've got where there are the two students or the two unregistered individuals are at the moment. There's a campus health and wellness center right underneath them. I mean, yesterday they were burning incense in the boardroom. We asked them to leave. The incense then set off the smoke detectors and etc., which meant we almost had to vacate the entire building. So there's all sorts of things kind of going on with the two individuals there. But there's a health and wellness center right next door to them in the same building. So if they are ill or they are sick, they're welcome to go to the health and wellness center. We will attend to them. I mean, we're not, we're human beings. We are on the same campus. I understand the plight of genuine students who are maybe unregistered and require funding, and we're genuinely trying to help those. But those who have two qualifications and jobs and still demand funding, I would say that they should try to pay their own way.
Shirona Patel, Wits spokesperson, thank you indeed for your reply, your right to reply. We do appreciate it. It always, obviously, in a situation like this, it puts the matters into perspective. Go well, thank you, and salam alaikum to you.
Shukran wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Right, yeah, there you got the other aspect of the situation, where we have been told that hundreds of students have gone on hunger strike at Wits University, and we've given Wits University right of reply, and we've now heard their side of the story. So still, I think a story worth following. It is 8:57 News and Views moving along. Let's go for our next ad break, and then we'll be going into our second hour of the show this morning. And a reminder that the second hour of News and Views is sponsored by Africa Muslims Agency, a beacon of hope to communities for over 35 years in Africa and beyond.